Hi everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. Today, or tonight, whenever you decide to watch this, I'm going to be doing something familiar, yet different at the same time. I'm going to be showing you my entire Spider-Man collection in the style of ASMR, since I thought it would be nice to try something new for 2022. Now, ever since SpiderMan No Way Home came out, I decided to take it upon myself and collect as much memorabilia as I can this year. So, without any further ado, if you want to relax to this video, if you want to take a nap while I whisper and show off all the things that I have, feel free to do so. But with that out of the way, let's get on with the collection showcase. The first item I'd like to show you is the most recent purchase I've made, and that is the Marvel Legends Amazing SpiderMan retro figure by Hasbro. But they say it's made by Kenner, but it's not really. So as you can see, this Spider-Man figure is inspired by the original artist's depiction of the character, Steve Ditko. And I gotta say, it's very well done. Now, I don't know if I want to keep it in the package or if I want to take it out, but I'm definitely leaning more towards keeping it in the package due to its very nice vintage feel. So on the back you have a description. I'm going to read it out loud, or in this case, through whispering. High above the ground, swinging through the streets, Spider-Man stops criminals that seem impossible to beat. I definitely love collecting stuff like this because you get great artwork and a very nicely made figure. I believe I also have Captain America and Iron Man in the same style, but they're out of the package. The second figure I'd like to show is actually my first Spider-Man figure. And it might be crazy for me to say that I actually got this guy right at the end of 2021. To think that I went my entire life without a single Spider-Man figure, but here we are. This is, of course, because I love the Sam Raimi trilogy, and I just think that figures like this should have some love. So here is the 2006 Hasbro Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Now, he's seen better days. For example, he's got a very loose upper torso, and he's missing lots of paint in areas, such as his chest and maybe his arms, a little bit on his feet too. But I think, aside from that, it's a solid figure. One of my favorite aspects about it is actually quite funny. One day I decided to just kind of, move him around a bit, make it look like he's doing his classic web shoot, but instead he's giving me a thumbs up. So this figure, I dub him the Motivational Spider-Man figure. He just gives me a thumbs up every day. So, very fun little figure. Definitely one of my favorites in the collection. The next figure is one that I believe has seen way better days, but in a way it's charming. Be warned. This is a 2015 Spider-Man action figure. Just a standard little guy. Nothing too special about him. Although, I think the special thing is that he was loved. Maybe a little too much. For example, he's missing pretty much his entire right hand aside from his thumb. And on his, web shooting hand, he's missing the tip of his pinky. There's a little scratch or a chip in the plastic on his little lens, and all around, his entire body is covered with some sort of weird paint or really bad marker. Now, I had an idea in that I would customize this figure, repairing it essentially into what it was, but better. So, my plan is to clean it, wash it off, and then start spraying it with primer, maybe getting some good paint that could, adhere to the plastic, and maybe get some clay of some kind, maybe polymer or, fast drying clay, something that could really hold on to what used to be his hand, maybe a little bit on the tip of his pinky. So, this is currently a work in progress until I can really get down and get to work on this guy. So, for now, he's just going to be this very loved SpiderMan figure, because I'm assuming that the person who had this figure loved it, played with it a lot until it became this. So, I'm going to make it better. Now, these next two figures come from 1995, based on the SpiderMan animated series. The first one I got was actually the second SpiderMan figure I've ever received. That's the battle-damaged SpiderMan figure. And here we have just the standard one with the web shooting hand. So, we'll talk about this guy first. I got him at an antique store at the coast. They have really nice little antique shops, and around the time I was going to leave, I stopped to look at one final case, and I saw this guy, and I said, wow, that's a really cool Spider-Man figure. Since I'm already getting one, I should get a completely different one with a completely unique sculpt and just all-around design. So I got him, and he was actually really well priced, and over the years he's been kept in a really good condition, so I'm assuming a collector had him before me. So, one of my favorite aspects of this figure is, of course, the mask. You can see that the lens on his eye is very cracked, and his mouth is exposed, and he's pissed. And he's also got hair sticking out of the top of his mask, so that's pretty cool. He's just got various tears all around his costume, and it's like he's been through a really rough battle. Now, I'm not exactly sure what set he came in, because, he has this little insert thing, so I'm guessing he attached to like a wall or something. Maybe to have the illusion that he's crawling up a wall or something, I don't know. Aside from that one thing, I think this is a pretty solid figure as well. Definitely happy to have figures like this in my collection. The same could be said for this basic Spider-Man figure. Despite me calling it basic, I think it is unique because it has slightly better articulation. I wouldn't say it's like perfect, but it's enough to where I can really appreciate it for more than what it is. Like, for example, he's actually got ankle joints, which helps the illusion of him swinging, So you can get him in all sorts of poses, different types of swinging poses, just kind of like maybe even wall crawling, just general Spider-Man stuff, you know the drill. But this guy is in slightly worse shape than the battle-damaged Spider-Man. As you can see, some areas are missing a little paint applications. The webbing on his costume is fading. The spider on the back is ultimately lost 2 legs, which is pretty sad. He's got normal scuff marks, stuff like that. But, you know, that just tells me that this figure was also loved, like that 2015 one. And I'm just going to take care of it, so, yeah. Those were the two Toy Biz Spider-Man figures from the 90s. So my collection isn't just Spider-Man by himself. We have one unique figure that isn't Spider-Man, and you already saw him. This is Adrian Toomes, also known as the Vulture, done in this really interesting style. I'm not sure if he came with the set or not, but there he is. There's Vulture. I got this at a thrift store in my town. This is one that I go to practically all the time just for fun. And, you know, I had store credit one day and I was just browsing around and I said, you know what? I kind of like this figure. It's not the best looking, but it's unique enough that I should get it. Plus, I mean, it's a Spider-Man villain, so why not? They didn't have Green Goblin or any other characters like that. It was just Vulture, but you know what? I'll take what I can get. It's a pretty fun little figure. If I found more of these guys, I'd pick them up. It was under $1, so there you go. Now, these last two figures are actually sealed. So the first one out of the two is this McDonald's Spider-Sense Peter Parker figure. This is, I believe, from 1995. Yeah, it says 95. So this little guy, apparently his head changes from the Spidey sense, as you can see here, and just normal Peter Parker. And what's cool is that he actually has a camera, you know, to take pictures of Spider-Man for the Bugle. So that's a nice little detail there. Just a neat little vintage McDonald's toy. Almost 30 years old too, which is crazy. This last figure is another McDonald's one. This is part of the Marvel Superheroes line. It's a Spider-Man in a vehicle. I believe this car appeared in the comics at some point, because I remember seeing screenshots of like Spider-Man in a little buggy like this. He has this little web thing that actually snaps into place. So I'm assuming when he, like, you know, when you roll him across the ground, maybe it comes out to give the illusion that, you know, it's like he's shooting a web through his car. I don't know. But, it's a very interesting little toy. I kind of like it. But yeah, here's Spider-Man in the car. At the same thrift store that I got the Vulture figure, I actually managed to snag a couple of Spider-Man pins. So the first one is Spider-Man with Peter Parker with his family. You know, there he is with Mary Jane Watson and their daughter. I don't remember her name off the top of my head though. I think it was May, you know, after Aunt May, but I could be wrong. But I thought it was a really nice, cute little pin. I might put it on my hat or shirt or something, I don't know yet. Same with this one. This is just a random panel of Spider-Man probably looking down at the city or something, but yeah, I really like the aesthetic, the shading, and just the overall artwork in general. It's awesome. Next is one that I got at the premiere of Spider-Man No Way Home. So, in my town, and I'm pretty sure everywhere else in the world, there were select theaters we're playing Spider-Man No Way Home on December 16th, a day before the actual worldwide premiere. My friend managed to snag a couple tickets for me and the rest of my pals, and we went to go see it, and honestly, it was one of the greatest movie-going experiences of my life, because at the concession stand, they had this. This is a Spider-Man popcorn bowl. Although, one thing I realized is that this is actually for Spider-Man Far From Home, which is really funny, because they were giving these away at the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere. So, there's that. The cool thing about this is that you can move Spider-Man around if you want for some reason. And for another reason, you take him out of the little web thing. I don't know why you would, but you can do that. But yeah, this is now a treasured item. One of my top favorite items that I own, because it reminds me of that amazing night that I saw Spider-Man No Way Home. So, popcorn bowl. Next up, we have some plushies. Now, I only have two, but they are some of the coolest plushies that I own in my collection in general. So the first one I got at an antique store close to the thrift store that I go to. This is a Amazing SpiderMan II Andrew Garfield plush by, I believe, Good Stuff, yeah. This is to promote the Amazing SpiderMan II, which is actually one of my favorite Spider-Man films, which I think to some degree could be a hot take if you really don't like that movie. I know there's probably a handful of people that just don't like the movie, and that's okay. I just like the fact that I have merchandise from that film, because it's amazing, no pun intended, or maybe it was intended, I don't know. But yeah, very awesome to have an Andrew Garfield plush. Now, this last plush, well, you probably just saw and know what it is now. This is one that I got because I got the Andrew Garfield plush. The Tobey Maguire SpiderMan 3 plush by Toy Factory. Yeah. Released in 2006, just like the Hasbro figure. And I actually have a funny story with this guy. So, I went on eBay because, I like to browse every now and then, and I saw this guy for sale. So, of course, because I have Andrew Garfield in plush form, you get Tobey Maguire, sure. So I got him, or I bought him, and he came in the mail, but it turns out that I got the wrong package. I got, Thai Beanie Babies in a package meant for somebody else, so I immediately messaged the seller. I was like, hey, this is my Spider-Man plush. She's like, oh, shoot. So, long story short, it worked out for me and the other person, and we got her plushies. I got my Spider-Man 3 plush. This is a very cool tag. I really like the aesthetic of this little guy. Yeah, so there's just basic information if you need to know how to take care of your Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 plush. I just noticed that he has a little hamstring, so, make it look like he's stuck to the wall. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Andrew Garfield's just got one on his head. Oh well. Great plushies. If they ever make a good Tom Holland Spider-Man plush around that scale, I'd buy one just to complete it. Because, spoiler alert, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's just great to have more merchandise of them, because they're both great. All three Spider-Man are great. Now we're getting to one of the coolest parts of my collection, even though it's already been pretty cool so far. That's the DVDs and other types of media. So the first one is, of course, Sam Raimi's SpiderMan widescreen special edition. This is one of my top favorite movies of all time. I know people love SpiderMan II the most, or people consider it the best superhero movie, but come on. You can't go wrong with the original. And look at this cover. It's awesome. I got this one and SpiderMan II at an antique store at the coast. Not the same one I got, Battle Damage Spider-Man, but close enough. So, opening it up, we have this really nice little insert of Spider-Man on, I believe it's the flagpole at the end of the movie. And of course, disc 1, it's got a really cool shot of Spider-Man. And disc 2 has Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, which has a really nice piece of artwork. It's amazing. Very awesome movie. And in the same vein, here is SpiderMan II, widescreen special edition. Very much love this design for the poster and just the overall DVD picture. So of course you can see Alfred Molina as Doc Ock there, and Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. Solid sequel. Really like to look at the whole cast here. Very awesome. This just comes with, this is actually a Blockbuster DVD case. I just realized that. Of course, you have 2, the movie, and 2 movie special features. I know that's a really lame joke, but I always thought it was funny. And finally, we have a movie that is very mixed within the Spider-Man community, but I personally like it. SpiderMan III. Widescreen presentation. I know that the Venom story arc in this film kind of throws everything else off a little bit, but personally, every time I've watched it, I actually really like it. Funny story about my previous copy of SpiderMan 3. I bought a copy at Goodwill, and it looked to be in pretty good condition. But no scratches either. They came with 2 discs. It was just kind of like the other 2. But I tried playing it, and it only got to the menu once. So that told me I needed to buy a new copy. And so I did. So here we go. 3, the movie. I'm just kidding. So, there we have the Sam Raimi trilogy. In the same vein as SpiderMan 3, these 2 films that we'll be looking at are mixed, I would say. So, the first one is, of course, The Amazing SpiderMan, the Mark Webb duology, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Man, I remember the first time I saw this. I believe it was about 2013 or 2014 when the second movie came out. I love this movie. I think that the fact that they have Gwen Stacy and the Lizard, stuff that we didn't get to see in the Sam Raimi trilogy. We got Gwen Stacy in 3, but Emma Stone's version of Gwen Stacy's the best, honestly. So, here we have the really nice disc cover with Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield together. I gotta say, this is a very nice reboot, and I appreciate what Mark Webb was going for. And the same goes for The Amazing SpiderMan II. This movie made me cry. Every time I watch it, I prepare myself for, spoiler alert, Gwen Stacy's death. I know people, or at least my friend, has told me he's had a problem with Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, Harry Osborn, but honestly, it's okay. I just disagree. I think he's pretty good, for what they were going for. And Electro, Jamie Foxx is great. Really like this picture of Spider-Man and Electro here. Very cool. And of course we have the disc with the exact same Spider-Man picture. But I think it's great. So we not only have the Mark Webb duology, we also have the John Watts currently duology, because No Way Home is obviously not out on DVD yet. Here we have SpiderMan Homecoming. Best Spider-Man ever. Now, Bill Zwecker from Chicago Sun-Times, I don't think there needs to be any comparison. I think all three Spider-Men are great. This is Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. When you open it up, you're immediately greeted with the digital code, the Blu-ray disc, and of course, the disc, regular DVD disc, which is the one I watch. Because apparently, finding the home movies on regular DVD is hard to find, and that might just be my searches, but so far, I've only been able to find these. So here's Far From Home, another really awesome movie experience, especially, after watching Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, just all of the Avengers movies are so good. At this point, I'm just rambling, but yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home. Once again, you're greeted with the digital code, Blu-ray, and then DVDs inside. Ah, yes. I actually haven't seen this, which is really funny. I really like the contrast between regular Spider-Man and Night Monkey. Really like that. So yeah, there we have the main movie DVDs, and if I do an update, I'll be sure to show No Way Home. This last DVD is one that I found at an antique store at the coast, once again, but this time it was at a different one. So I've been finding Spider-Man pretty much at every antique store recently. I think this series is kind of like not the most remembered or well known. I'm not exactly sure, because I don't see people talking about it a lot, but this is Spider-Man, the new animated series, The Ultimate Face-Off. I don't really know too much about this one, but I know that Kraven the Hunter's in it, so there's that. And Silver Sable, and of course, the Gaines twins, which I don't really remember, which is kind of sad. I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to Spider-Man comic characters, because I grew up watching the films. So here we have the DVD cover for them. It's just the same as the basic main cover. Yeah. Very interesting. I believe there was another DVD, but I could have been wrong. I mean, at the store. But maybe next time it'll be there for me to pick up. If it actually is there. But we'll see. Now, I don't have any video games, but I do have this. This is the case to SpiderMan 2 on the PlayStation 2. Take New York for a spin. From random crime to global threat, the entire city is relying on you to save it. Go anywhere, interact with anyone and anything. Web swing for the first time from street to rooftop across the entire city, featuring the voices of Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and Alfred Molina. This is awesome, mainly because, well, despite not actually having the game, it's awesome to have the case because my friend decided that he didn't want it, so he just gave it to me. And that's really nice of him, you know. If I do get to find the game, at least I know that I'll have it. Here's the inside of the case, of course. PlayStation memory, card holder. This is where the disc would go. I honestly wish I had the game and a working PS2, because I'd really like to try this game out, because I hear it's a really fun game. Probably one of the best Spider-Man games out there, but at least I have the case. And now we are entering the final stage of our collection ASMR showcase, and that is comic books, magazines. There's books all around. So the first one was a book that I actually got last Friday, The Amazing SpiderMan Beyond, Volume 1. Now this has the reappearance of Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker. Ben Reilly, the clone of Spider-Man, is back. He's been through hell, but now with the support of the Beyond Corporation, Ben is whipping once again, being the best Spider-Man he can be. But where is Peter Parker? And what will this upheaval mean for Mary Jane, the Black Cat, Aunt May, and all of New York City? Donning the webs has placed a target on Ben's back, and Morbius and Kraven are out for blood. So, Ben will need all the training he can get from the Daughters of the Dragon. Prepare to go beyond, as new webs are woven that will take you to places you've never been. Pit the web slinger against classic villains and brand new foes, and reinvent the whole concept of Spider-Man. Now, this was really cool. I absolutely love the artwork. This first page with Uncle Ben is crazy, because, you know, it's a nightmare sequence, and it's got its own unique flair, you know. I don't know how else to describe it. I just really appreciate comic book art, because there's so many things you can do to make a character just stand out. And, you know, Spider-Man is just one of those characters that just really works in any form of media, really. Which is why I'm glad I bought this, because it's a very nice read. And of course, you know, I need a little bit more of that comic book knowledge, so. The next comic is one from, I believe, 1993. I can't remember exactly, but, oh wait, yeah, 1990, sorry. This is The Amazing SpiderMan. This is issue 343. Yeah, this is crazy. I believe this is part of a series. There's Black Cat. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't recognize any of these characters. I think that's Scorpion, but you see, I gotta get more comic knowledge, because this is just one of those comics that I saw, and I was like, sure, I'll buy it. So yeah, you've probably already heard so much of my lack of knowledge on the Spider-Man comics, but could you blame me? No. This next one is issue 191 of the Spectacular Spider-Man. This is part of Eye of the Puma series. That's where he's got the symbiote. And of course that's Puma. You know, from what the cover says. So, Puma's Rage. This is a very nice cover. I really like that. Let's see. 1992. This is the 30th anniversary sort of thing. This is really cool. I like this. So, hopefully I can find more comics in the future, because I really like the vintage comic feel, and I really like the 90s art. It's really awesome. So, here we have a Time magazine called The Story of Spider-Man, the character that broke all the rules. This is basically just Time magazine going over the history of Spider-Man up until Far From Home, I believe. Because, you know, this came out, I believe, right before No Way Home came out. It's crazy, they even have a list for all the best Spider-Man movies, and of course, SpiderMan II won. It's pretty fair. Yeah, this is the back. You got Ultimate Spider-Man, Tom Holland, I believe Stan Lee, a younger Stan Lee. We got Nicholas Hammond. Yeah, there we go. It's a very, very nice book. Yeah, this is crazy. It's Stan Lee and John Romita just kind of going over the whole Spider-Man comic and just making history, essentially. And last but not least, this is another recent pickup. This is the Spider-Man Entertainment Weekly magazine. This kind of going over No Way Home and just looking at the history of Spider-Man. And, you know, I'm glad that we're finishing it off with this, because this is a very important message. Anyone can wear the mask. And as Aunt May says in SpiderMan II, I believe there's a hero in all of us. And honestly, I couldn't agree more, because you know, Spider-Man being the everyman superhero is just incredible, and I'm very fortunate to have the merchandise that I do. I know it's not the biggest collection, but I think what I have here is something that I'd love to cherish, and you know, I'm happy that I could go over it with all of you. So I really hope you enjoyed this change of video style, because I sure did. And since I'm getting used to ASMR, I thought it would be cool to just kind of try, do something different. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more ASMR style content, just let me know in the comments below. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.